Okay, so these are my most anticipated games from 2021. So, new Pokemon Snap is not on the list, and I had it at first. I thought it might be fun, but honestly, I've never really played the original game, and it never looked that much fun. And this new one, it doesn't really look. I mean, it looks fun enough, but it's expensive, and I don't think I would enjoy it as much. But I really am enjoying seeing everybody enjoy it and watching the pictures on Twitter and stuff. And I'm really enjoying how everybody who loved the original game has a new sequel. It's fun. So my list is 8 games in total. At number 8, I have Knockout City, which comes out on the 21st of May, so that's pretty soon. So it looked amazing it looked very good in the trailers. I was pretty excited. I knew it was an EA game, and Xbox Game Pass has a lot of EA games now, so I was pretty sure it would come to EA Play or Xbox Game Pass. And that has been confirmed recently, so I get to play it for free when it comes out. There was a beta trial or like a playable online demo, at least. I don't know how they called it, but I could have tried that. But I was like, I mean, I'm not that excited. It's at number 8, and I'm gonna play it, but I'm just gonna wait until it's released. I can play it for free on Game Pass anyway. But also, I saw some gameplay of the online demo, and it looked a lot less fun than the trailer. So I'm not sure. I'm just really curious to try it. Honestly, like I don't expect it anymore after seeing that gameplay. I don't expect it anymore to be on like my top 10 games of the year list or anything at the end of the year, but I'm just excited to try it anyway. I'm just curious. Then at number 7, I have Solar Ash Kingdom, and this is from the same developers of Hyper Light Drifter. And honestly, Hyper Light Drifter I haven't played yet, but it's been on my Switch eShop wish list for a while. I definitely want to play Hyper Light Drifter. It looks amazing. It reminds me of Creature in the Wild a little bit. I don't know why. I guess because of like the action combat and like the art style and the atmosphere a bit. And Creature in the Wild is a game that I really liked. So yeah, the new game, Solar Ash Kingdom, it looks a bit like a 3D version of Hyper Light Drifter in a way, and I like 3D games. It has a lot of platforming in it. It's just looking very promising. I'm very excited to try it. I'm sure it's gonna be expensive though, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna play it on day one. Like it's a PS4 and PS5 exclusive basically, but it also comes to PC. I don't have a PlayStation. It's the only console that I don't have. But I have a PC, and so I'm gonna play it on that. But it seems like one of those games that's like $30 or euros, and it's download only, which is fine. But I might wait until it's on a sale when it comes out. So I'm not sure it's gonna be a day one purchase. But if I'm gonna play it, I'm sure I will enjoy it. It looks very fun. And then at number 6, I have Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, the remake. So that's Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Yeah, it's supposed to come out in late 2021. Oh, by the way, Solar Ash Kingdom is just 2021, not a date yet. So I'm not sure when it's coming out, but it's supposed to come out this year. Anyway, so Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, it comes out late 2021. I'm very excited because I never ended up completing the Diamond and Pearl and Platinum games, the Gen 4 Pokemon games. I got to like batch 6, and then there were some guards who wouldn't let me through or something, and I didn't bother to look up what I had to do. Honestly, like I was just like, yeah, it's fine, because I don't know what it was. It was just like a couple of times I got kind of stuck with things like that, like moments like that. And the DS games are so slow too. Like I honestly enjoy the Game Boy games a lot more. They seem a bit faster and I have more charm. So I'm definitely excited to try the Switch HD versions, although they look very chibi and they look a bit like they're the same game in some ways. But I mean, they're still prettier. Like it's kind of stupid. Like Pokemon X and Y looked very modern, very 3D. The character models looked very big and modern. And then they made Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, the remakes, and they looked very chibi too, like just like the Diamond and Pearl remix they're gonna do. And honestly, I don't understand that. Like, why is that necessary? Because it's a remake of an older game. Like, why can't you just make it like X and Y was? Like, and Sun and Moon looks very modern too. So like, what's the difference with that? Why? Why does it need to be chibi when it's a remake? I don't understand that, to be honest. And it's not that I'm opposed to it or that I think the game looks ugly or whatever. It's just a weird decision, in my opinion. But nonetheless, I'm excited to finally finish the Diamond and Pearl games. And honestly, I stopped watching the Pokemon anime at the Diamond and Pearl seasons too, and I'm probably just gonna watch that again too while I play the remakes. That's gonna be fun. It's gonna take me way back to like 2005 or whenever those games came out. It's gonna be very fun. And at number 5, I have Psychonauts 2. So somewhere next week, the original Psychonauts is gonna come to Xbox, and that's perfect for me because I've been meaning to try the game for a while now. I really wanna play it. I think it's gonna be amazing because it's set, like the levels are set inside people's heads, basically. Like all these characters seem to have mental illness, and the levels seem to be based on that. And that's like, it's an amazing concept. It's an amazing idea, and I'm super excited to try the original game. And the new game just looks a lot prettier and better, so definitely excited for that as well. So that's why, yeah, the sequel Psychonauts 2 is on this list as well. And it's supposed to just come out this year. It's just set 2021, so we'll see when it comes out. Then at number 4, Axiom Verge 2 also says 2021. Last year, Action Verge 2 was in the Nintendo Indie Showcase presentation, and Thomas Hopp, the developer, he said basically that it's gonna take a while and it's gonna be delayed until 2021. And honestly, when he said that, I'm not sure. Like, I wouldn't, let's put it like this: I wouldn't be surprised if he needs more time even, and that it comes out in 2022. But we'll see. We'll have to wait and see if that happens. For now, it says 2021, and I'm very excited. Action Verge is probably my favorite Metroidvania game that isn't a Metroid game, and that's pretty much because it just looks like a Metroid game. Like, it's basically like if Nintendo made a Metroid game, except they implemented things that would never happen in a Metroid game. And that's really what's cool about it. Like, it has everything you want in a Metroid game, except some really cool ideas that you wouldn't expect in a Metroid game. And I think that's the perfect balance. That's really what I would want in an indie Metroidvania game. Just give me the feeling that I'm playing a Metroid game, except for a few things that wouldn't happen in a Metroid game. That's really perfect. So that's why I'm super excited about Action Verge 2 as well. And from the trailer, the first trailer they showed, it seemed to have a lot of cool ideas. Like, there was a boomerang in it, and I think that's gonna be cool. Like, that wasn't something that I've seen in the first game, and it seems to be less like synthwave like and less glitchy. Like, it seems to be more colorful and stuff, and I like that. I like the first game, but I think the new game might be even better from what I've seen. So I'm really excited about it. Honestly, it only being at number 4, that's kind of ridiculous when you think about it. Like, considering I'm that excited about it. Okay, then at number 3, also says 2021, is Demon Turf. And Demon Turf is a game that it's from the same developers that made Slime Sand. I played Slime Sand, and it was pretty fun, but I never completed it because it has like hundreds of levels. It has a lot of levels. The game was like $5, and it has hundreds of levels. It's ridiculous. It has a free demo on the Switch too, so definitely try Slime Sand if you want, and then you get a feel for how the developer is, and it's very creative, very good level design, very good platforming. I played a lot of Slime Sand. I really enjoyed it. The music is amazing. It's on Spotify too. I really enjoy when developers put their music on Spotify. But Demon Turf, it looks even better. It's basically like a pixel art, like 2.5D 3D platformer is how I would describe it. It looks like a 3D platformer, but it has more 2.5D or 2D even, and a bit pixel-like art design. And usually I'm not the biggest fan of pixel art, but it's not necessarily pixel art, and it just looks very unique and creative in Demon Turf. It looks amazing. It has a free demo on Steam, and I just haven't played it yet because honestly, I just want to play the full game. I might go and play it, the demo, but honestly, I just want to wait and play the full game because I'm 100% sure that I'm going to love it. Honestly, the level design looks amazing. There's a bunch of tough platforming, and there's a mechanic where you turn into a wheel and you can race really fast, and that adds so much speed and momentum. That's really fun. And the platforming, often you have to climb up. Like, there's a couple of levels, and they remind me of TikTok Clock from Super Mario 64, where you have to just go up and up. And I really like that. That's such a platforming challenge. And like I talked in my top 10 favorite games from 2020 and 19 about how I didn't like the original Ukulele and Mario Odyssey compared to the original Banjo-Kazooie and compared to Mario 64 and Sunshine. And that's because I don't like when platformers focus too heavily on collecting aspect rather than the platforming aspect. Like in Mario Odyssey, there were big open sections with a lot of collecting, and it felt like less of a platformer than Mario Sunshine and Mario 64. Which, while to me, Mario 64 and Sunshine had the perfect balance of platforming and exploring and collecting. I mean, um, and the same with Banjo Kazooie compared to Tui and Ukulele. Tui and Ukulele were too big and had a lot of way too much collecting. But like, yeah, there is a level, or there are levels in Demon Turf that remind me of TikTok Clock from Mario 64, where you just have to climb up and keep platforming, and that's pretty fun to me. Like that's very platform heavy, and there just doesn't seem to be too many real platforming 3D platformers anymore. Like a lot of revival 3D platformers are very focused on collecting. But me personally, I would take Mario 3D World over Mario Odyssey any day because I prefer the platforming over the collecting. Even though I like collecting, but then you have to do it like Banjo Kazooie, in my opinion. You have to keep it small, like 100 notes, 10 jiggies, relatively small levels. Not go like all out and make super big levels with crazy amounts of collectibles. That's not the way to do it, in my opinion. So that's why I'm really, really excited about Demon Turf, because it's very focused on platforming. And at number 2, I have Mario Golf Super Rush. Mario Golf might be my favorite Mario sports spin-off, because you have Mario Smash Football, Mario Strikers they call it in America. Mario Smash Football was very action-packed, and I like that, but it wasn't as relaxing as Mario Golf and Mario Tennis. It's like a balance between the two, but I just really like the relaxing aspect of Mario Golf. I like to put on podcast or music and just chill out and relax and forget everything and take my time with the shots and stuff. That's what makes it fun for me. And I didn't like the 3DS game Mario Golf World Tour, I think it was called. The single player mode seemed very weird and confusing. Like I didn't know where to go, and after I completed a cup, it didn't really seem to make progress for me. And then offline, there wasn't much to do either. That probably is just on me, but I don't know. Toadstool Tour on the GameCube seemed way better to me, and the Nintendo 64 version seemed very good too. So yeah, I really enjoyed Toadstool Tour. But yeah, Super Rush seemed to have cool environments. The first levels, of course, look a bit basic, but it's also always the case with the first couple of levels. There was a level that totally looked like it was the Deep Woods for Mario Odyssey, so I'm looking forward to that kind of level design. I like the speed run kind of mode where you have to outrun people and go as fast as possible. That seems fun. I probably played the normal mode more though. And King Bob-omb is apparently a character. I'm really excited about that. He's one of my favorite characters. So then at number 1 is Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. Skyward Sword is my favorite Zelda game ever. And it gets a lot of hate. A lot of people like to say that the overworld is small and empty, but really they just mean the sky and Skyloft. But that's just the beginning area. Like it's just like Kokiri Forest basically in Ocarina of Time. And I'm not gonna call that the overworld. That's not the overworld. The world on the ground is the overworld basically. And there's a lot of backtracking, and it's funny that a lot of people use that against it. They say like you have to keep coming back to the same area, which is funny because these areas are pretty big. And like you don't say that about like a Metroid game. Like in Metroid, it's a great thing to have backtracking. And it's just funny. Basically, it's like I won't spoil exactly how you make progress and stuff, but let's say there's like an area that's cut off with rocks, and then later on in the game, you have bombs. So you're like, oh, now I can go back to the first area and go bomb those rocks and go to a whole piece of that area that I've never been to. And then you can make progress again that way. And that's really fun about backtracking, in my opinion. And I guess I can see that that's overwhelming because there's also dungeons, that also focus on that. But I thought that was great, to be honest. And something I really liked was that the main area, Skyloft, was also the beginning area. So it's like Kokiri Forest from Ocarina of Time and Kakariko Village combined. Like you meet people from the beginning and you still get to see them. And that's basically like how it was in Clocktown in Majora's Mask. Speaking of Majora's Mask, I didn't enjoy Majora's Mask as much. It was very overwhelming and intimidating to me, but I ended up still playing it and loving it. But at times I didn't like it, and I see a lot of people they like to write off Skyward Sword, like, oh, I don't like motion controls, I don't like the whole setting and stuff. But I mean, if I can like Majora's Mask, even though I was intimidated by it, then so can everybody with Skyward Sword. And it's funny that a lot of people there are so against motion controls. I personally loved it. I played a lot of games before, but it wasn't until the Zelda games that I started to play more kinds of games. And I was only 14 years old when Ocarina of Time 3D and Skyward Sword came out. So the motion controls were very welcomed for me because it was an easy way to learn to play 3D games. And I'm just surprised that so many people complain about it, because really, isn't button control something you had to learn once? Isn't that something that's kind of difficult in a way? Why are motion controls so terrible to people? In my opinion, it made Skyward Sword great. And now there's an option for buttons, so people, if they want that, there is that. Which is funny to me because, in my opinion, Skyward Sword should have been a launch game on the Wii U. They should have held out a year, because it was 2011. HD was, the Xbox 360 and PS3 were already out, so HD consoles were already a thing. And the Wii U came out a year later. I don't understand. It's the dumbest decision ever to me that they didn't wait until the Wii U came out. Because then it would have been in HD already. They wouldn't need the Switch version that we get now. And they could have done button controls or maybe touchscreen controls on the gamepad. But I like the game fine. It's funny, I played it, I think, 6 times from the beginning to end. And I think I played it a couple of years ago, recently even. And I saw the trailer, and honestly, I thought, what's the difference? It looks the same. But then I looked back, I saw a comparison video of the original and the HD version. And yeah, it looked pretty terrible. The original version is very blurry, very rigid, very blocky compared to the new version, and there was less color. So yeah, the HD version looks pretty good. It could have looked better, but it looks good. But yeah, like I said, the Wii U version, if that existed, it would have sold a lot. I think if it was a launch game on the Wii U, I think 10 million people would have bought it, because it wasn't a success on the Wii, because nobody cared about the Wii at that point anymore. And a lot of people, pretty early on in the Wii U life cycle, they announced the new Zelda game, which turned out to be Breath of the Wild. And a lot of people were waiting for that game. They wanted to buy a Wii U for it. So honestly, I think they would have done the same for Skyward Sword. So I just think it's a ridiculous idea that they decided to put it out on Wii and not just wait a year more for the Wii U version. And of course, they learned their lesson with Breath of the Wild. Something I'm worried about is the motion controls on the Switch are a lot worse. There's a lot of drift in the Joy-Con, and it's funny that a lot of people like to claim that the Joy-Con have better technology, but that's really just because they're thinking with logic. They're just thinking, oh, it's newer, so it's probably better, but it's really not. There's a lot of drift in the Joy-Con. The Joy-Con just don't work great half the time. The Wii motion controls, they worked way better. So I'm worried about that a bit, but I guess I could try the button controls if it doesn't work out. But yeah, Skyward Sword has a great story, great music, great atmosphere, great art style, great side quests, a lot of backtracking that I love, character development, emotional stuff, funny stuff. Honestly, it has everything that I want in a Zelda game. And it might be my favorite game ever, but it's probably F-Zero GX. And Super Mario Sunshine is probably second. And then third, I guess, Skyward Sword HD. But they're all very close. All very close. Right below is probably the Smash Brothers games and the Metroid games or whatever. But yeah, Skyward Sword pretty high up in my favorite games ever. Yeah, it's just kind of weird to me how a lot of people don't give it a chance, when really they're claiming to be big Zelda fans, and they say things like the opening was boring or too long, and really that's the same thing with pretty much every Zelda game. Skyward Sword is not different from that, and they're saying things like the motion controls suck and stuff, but really, I guess I can't say objectively, but really they work really well. If you have your sensor bar and if you just calibrate your controller a lot, then it should be good. And you shouldn't. That's the thing. A lot of people, they probably like waggled. Like they think like you could just waggle, but really because of Motion Plus, you have to be really accurate. Like you have to really do a side slash whatever if you really want to do that. You have to really do that, and it doesn't mean you have to stand or whatever. You can just do that sitting down. But I think a lot of people, they don't realize that the motion controls are more accurate than they think. I think that's the problem a bit. But yeah, there's button controls, so even those people can enjoy it. And yeah, like I said before, I was pretty intimidated by Majora's Mask, and I ended up playing it and really loving it too. So because really all Zelda games are so similar, they all share things that we love. So if I can enjoy Majora's Mask that way, then so can people like Skyward Sword.